A loud echoing shout almost blew away Sura. She hurriedly turned around to see what was happening. Below was a crowd of fans surrounding Min Seon and Seon Hyun. Amazing! Jang Min Seon. This is crazy! Behind him was Kang Seon Hyun. He is so tall and handsome. She stood there thinking it was fortunate that they were not going together. Outside, the snow was still falling quite heavily. Inside the luxurious car, Min Seon sat talking. Seon Hyun, by the way, what important thing were you going to talk about when we went down to the second floor? Was I interrupting? He replied sulkily, you already know, why ask again? But why, he wondered to himself, does she feel the same way as I do? Is there a chance? Answering such a question takes time. When Minon appeared, was it perhaps thanks to her? What am I worried about? The studio gradually came into view. Inside, everything was meticulously and professionally arranged. Mi Seon handed her a stack of papers and said, here, this is the script, Sura. She politely took it with both hands, saying, thank you. He also added, the audition is a bit sudden, so I apologize for the lack of details. You only need to look at the emotional dialogues. Do you want to see script number 10? That part is very important to me. She widened her eyes in surprise, yes. Reading up to this point, she suddenly paused. Min Seon noticed and asked, what's wrong? Sura, startled, chose a random response, nothing, I really like the script. He smiled broadly, really? I knew it. She also smiled politely, oh my, this is just a story, right? A new love appears before the wound has time to heal. She carries a sorrowful heart that cannot be explained, because she is afraid. No need to create emotions, we just need to express it. She looked up and glanced around before walking over to Seon Hyun, calling, Senior, will you watch my audition? Seon Hyun checked his watch and replied, if it doesn't take too long, I have to go to the film set soon. She showed her determination through her words, I will do my best not to take too much time, so. He asked curiously, so? Sura tightly clutched the script and hesitantly said, so I hope you will watch it very carefully, very very carefully. He was very surprised by her action. Seon Hyun gently said, all right, giving her an encouraging smile, do your best, I will watch it very carefully. Sura closed her eyes and thought quietly, the main character's heart still unhealed from past love. It feels like the days when she wanted to believe in someone again. It won't happen until she meets him. At that moment, she's just a vague audience in the vast stadium. While Seon Hyun Kang always shines, no matter where he is. His graceful moves are still deeply etched in her mind. The basketball he smoothly put into the basket was so satisfying to watch. Her cheers blended with those around her, that smile, that figure had already captured her heart, she didn't know since when. In those moments, Sura's face blushes whenever our eyes meet, and afterward, she feels relieved not to be shaky. Will she be hurt like in the past? She hesitates, until her heart is ready. In her heart, there was a sense of unease. Would it be too selfish if she asked him to wait a little longer? Seon Hyun remained silent, his eyes fixed on her, not leaving the director Jang Min Seon, who was sitting nearby, with a smirk full of hidden meaning. Jin Kyung, startled, stood up and asked, what about the main actor in Min Seon's MV? Sura's face was full of anticipation. Yes, Kyung continued, what about director Jang Min Seon and Sura? You two seem so moved, embracing each other. Oh my, how did you manage to get the audition for her from heaven? Suddenly, she stood up, I need to go buy wine and cake. She was so enthusiastic that Sura suddenly felt drained of all her strength. Quick, lie down, it's okay, and comforted her. You've gone a whole 365 days without injury, and now this. Her voice trailed off weakly. Still, I feel guilty that Wang Su went through the trouble of inviting me out. Just as she finished speaking, she suddenly shouted, leaving Sura bewildered. After a while, she teased, what about Wang Su? Are you two dating? Sura blushed. No, we've just decided to get to know each other. Sura was curious why people acted like that. Kyung's voice was slowy, you were too kind to me, but I also worried a lot about you. Suddenly, Kyung faced Sura's curious gaze and lost her composure. Don't look at me with those eyes. So, what's going on between you and Kang Se-hyun? Upon hearing his name, Sura immediately found an excuse to flee. What did you eat and drink? Go back now. Kyung couldn't keep up with this sudden change of direction. Alright, I don't want to eat anymore anyway. Moreover, you and Kang Se-hyun. She hurriedly interrupted, I'll come back soon. Lie down. Before she could lie down, a terrifying sound echoed in her ears. What's going on? Outside, snow was falling slowly. Sura walked slowly, unable to contain herself. She took out her phone to check, feeling increasingly disappointed. Senior still hadn't contacted her. Did he even watch her audition? When the audition ended, he had already left. The cold outside mirrored her current feelings. She didn't want to accept anything. But why did she feel regretful about losing contact? It was selfish. Suddenly a beep sounded. Sura couldn't believe her eyes, it was true. Senior Kang Se-hyun was calling her. Without hesitation, she answered the phone. Hello? Yes, Senior? He hesitated on the other end, asking if she had returned home yet. Sura, confused, replied, yes. He awkwardly apologized for not saying anything to her earlier because he was too busy with the audition. She secretly rejoiced upon knowing that he had watched it. Se-hyun continued, wait a while longer. If you don't hear anything, then. Yes, she replied, unsure if she understood correctly until she was ready. If you want me to wait, Sura worried, would that be selfish? He seemed to be answering her question, his voice warm and reassuring, I'll wait. These 3 words were like a warm fire, warming her heart. Amidst the lively atmosphere of the party, Director Min Se-hyun spoke up, come on, let's greet each other. He raised his hand towards her, introducing our gem, Wang Sura. She bowed her head low, hello, I'm Wang Sura. I hope everyone can help me. Applause filled the room, and Sura stood there stunned for a moment before finally speaking emotionally, thank you for welcoming me. This is the first time I've been welcomed like this. Min Se-hyun chuckled, today is the day of the lead actor. How impressive of you even before anything has started. What am I going to do with you? Curious, Kyung and Sura stood by the dressing room door, looking at the sign with sparkling eyes. Sura, didn't you dream of this? Yes, she replied, I can't believe it, but it's real. Internally, she screamed with joy, having her own dressing room. Can I take a piece of paper with your name on it as a keepsake? Kyung was equally excited. Sure, you can frame it and hang it up. Sura still couldn't regain her composure. She couldn't believe that all of this was meant for her, up until now. She felt nostalgic about the times before, eating nervously from her lunchbox, trembling from the cold, with hard rice grains, and the changes of clothes in the corner of the film set, waiting in the car. These were all daily occurrences. But today, Sura had her own dressing room, with a professional hair and makeup artist ready. These were all dreams of the famous, she silently admitted. If this is a dream, please don't wake me up. Kyung exclaimed emotionally, wow, how is this possible? You look so beautiful, Sura, from head to toe. Sura exuded a gentle charm. Do I look good, sis? It's the first time I've worn such colorful clothes, so I'm a bit shy. Kyung honestly said, it's a bit unusual, but it's wonderful. Ultimately, professionals remain professionals. Tears streamed down Sura's face. Thank you, teacher. Thank you for making Sura so beautiful. Sura also politely bowed her head and thanked her. Suddenly, Kyung noticed something. Are you surprised about something? She exclaimed, then opened the door and stepped out of the room. Sura, I'll be right back. Feel free for a moment, she said with a mysteriously smiling face. As she stepped outside to collect the items, did you happen to see Mr. Wang-soo? Sura checked her phone for a message from Senior Kong-sung. This is the path I take after shooting all night. Today is the first day of shooting, right? Do well and don't worry too much. Reading the encouraging message from him, she felt very happy. Immediately, she replied, yes, I'll work diligently. Make sure you rest, too, Senior, after working all night. Sura remembered that day when he said, take your time. I'll wait, and I'm sorry. She was puzzled, not understanding anything. Why? She asked. His voice echoed, I've given my heart and opinions to Sura. Perhaps my thoughts and yours are different. What's easy for me might be difficult for you. I didn't know that. 2 weeks passed, and Sura still hadn't received a reply from her senior. He didn't ask anything, just apologized in the end. Did he consider a call a burden, too? They only exchanged messages. That's all. She appreciated his kindness, but now she missed everything, his face, then his voice, followed by his warm hands, and even that strong scent. Kyung didn't know who was behind her. Since when has Kang Se-Hyun been there, right? Sura quickly tried to avoid the topic. Yes, just finished shooting last night, so I just want him to do well. Kyung, with a dangerous look, questioned, not talking about Kim Chong-gu, are we? Sura, puzzled, asked back, why would Senior Se-Hyun mention that name? She replied, there's nothing, it seems like the extended filming session is because of Kim Chong-gu. Sura also knew his acting skills, but he suddenly encountered such a dramatic situation with director Gu. What should he do? Moreover, there were quite a few scenes where the actors had to perform on their own, but they took care of themselves in that way. Nonetheless, a blunder caused other actors to suffer somehow. Sura took the filming session seriously throughout. Kyung asked in surprise, so when are you going to date Kang Son-hyun? It seems like you really like Kang Se-Hyun. What are you going to do if you hesitate and lose Se-Hyun? Sura pretended to remain calm but sighed, well, I think he'll easily change his mind if you just send him a message within 2 weeks. Do you know if he's as stubborn as a log? This thought sparked a sense of worry in her. Thinking back, actress Song Jina once said in an interview, the actor I want to work with the most is Kang Son-hyun. Singer Lena also mentioned, my ideal type has always been Kang Son-hyun. Even model Ju Sojin smiled when Kang Son-hyun was mentioned. I also want to meet him. Her expression turned grim. She could only force a smile. Who will win Kang Se-Hyun? I wish I could be indifferent. She began to sweat. What should I do? Kim Cheong-gu carefully inspected his reflection. Damn it, is that a scar? How come there are so many action scenes in this film? The assistant spoke up. It's just a small wound. You can't see it. He snapped at his artist. Why does your face look so strange? You got injured on your face, but why do you look so strange? Kang Se-Hyun deliberately did this. Why does the assistant only think about Kang Son-hyun? He only acts like he did during practice. But he dodged and got hurt. Chong-gu, you still haven't calmed down, but you're still angry. You knew, right? The assistant affirmed, your face is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. Suddenly, a call came in. He hesitated whether to answer or not, but his face lit up afterward. Hey, Chong-gu, are you okay? Of course, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me. How's your face? Hearing them groan, the assistant silently thought, what about his face? Well, it's the same. Mijang set the coffee cup down in front of the camera. We have to do it like this. All right, that's good. Next week, we'll meet our friends. When you come to Seoul, stop by, because everyone says they miss you, Chong-gu. Hearing this, he became puzzled. Next week? Really? She wondered. All right then. He tightened his grip on the phone. Of course, I'll go. Mijang cheerfully said thank you many times. Take care of yourself and shoot well. He smiled and replied, I'll contact you later. The sound of the calling shutting off echoed. Kim Cheong-gu's face immediately changed, his voice full of anger. Damn it! Sura, at this point, was lamenting and complaining. Kyung quickly reminded the main actor, hey, your face doesn't look okay. You're slumping on the sofa, you don't have the energy to put on a friendly face anymore. What time is it, anyway? She took out her phone to check. It's 10:55, Sura pondered. Since leaving home until now, it had been 17 hours. Kyung tried to help her sit up. Actually, it's been 24 hours, not enough time for filming. There are many cases where schedules are extended. Come on, you can do it, she urged. Sura struggled to speak. Of course, compared to filming at the beach in winter, this is much easier. Sura's face was blank as she realized that confidently stating it would be difficult to adjust her makeup and change it numerous times was even harder than she had thought. Until now, there were things she had envied, but it turned out that each matter had its own difficulties. Kyung announced that the next interview schedule was with director Lil and Entertainment News, which would take about 30 minutes. She suggested that Sura could take a break until then. Sura's voice lacked energy as she agreed to rest. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Kyung gave permission for the person to enter. "Come in," she said. A person entered and apologized for interrupting Sura's break. Sura quickly assured them that it was okay, mentioning that everyone worked hard here until late. The person chuckled, agreeing that it was just part of the job and mentioning the odd behavior of their director, who wanted to spend some valuable time with Sura. Both Sura and the person exchanged puzzled looks before responding in unison, "All right." In the young director's room, Sura's appointment went quite smoothly. "It's great to see you again, Wang Sura." And then the scenes were quickly filmed. As the night fell, the sound called out loudly, urging Kang Se-Yun-Hyun to come out. "Hurry up, are you still cold, huh? What's the matter?" Wang Su reported, "Sura's on TV." Look at his surprised face change 360 degrees. "Sura looks really beautiful on TV." "Oh? Okay." Wang Su commented, looking at Sura worriedly, while Sung remained focused on her without saying anything. The host continued to lead. "While waiting, I looked briefly, but there were no flaws in the scenes with Sura. Even director Jang, known to be very strict, seems to be lenient with her." "Why did he speak up?" "Well, if you look, you'll know. Sura is perfect. I already liked her when I saw her in the audition." "Right, Sura?" The host enjoyed the atmosphere heating up, and Sura blushed, explaining shyly, "Oh, he likes my acting style. Director Jang seems like he wants to cry." Sura replied, "Well, I'm even weirder." After hearing this, everyone burst into laughter, and Sura's eyes met the director's unintentionally. Then she smiled sweetly. He couldn't take his eyes off her, he couldn't hide his feelings, adorable. Wang Su, looking solemn, also saw it wonderfully. "What's up?" he asked without bothering to look over. Wang Su said, "Even if you say you'll wait forever, Sura hasn't called you in 2 weeks. Sung Hyun replied, "You're the one waiting." Both of them, Wang Su admitted. Sung Hyun remained calm, saying, "She messaged me." The assistant eagerly asked, "Do you think texting is the same as calling? How can you resist the desire to see her face and just listen to her voice?" "It's not like that. At first, you wanted to meet someone stable and calm. I think it's a bit different from your ideal." Se-Yun-Hyun's thoughtful expression, "I don't know anymore." The male lead's face became foolishly sentimental. "It's just that I've changed my ideal, thanks to Wang Sura." Wang Su froze in place after hearing it. Se-Yun-Hyun's sarcastic tone was truly something. Even the magnificent Kang Sung-Hyun had no other way when he was in love, huh? He suddenly remembered something. "By the way, did you send the tickets for this Sunday yet?" He replied, "Oh, I got that. I received the address from Jin Kyung and sent it out on the same day." Hyun smiled gratefully. Wang Su confidently responded, "All right, on the premiere day, I want to tell Jin Kyung about it. What do you think?" He affirmed, "Sure, I'm okay with that." As he watched her on the TV screen, he continued, "No matter what happens between you and Sura, I'll still move forward." The car was rolling down the road, and Sura's voice came through, "Hey sis, I think at this event, you should work on improving your endurance. I've already signed up for the gym." Suddenly, the car accelerated, causing her to jerk sideways. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Around our neighborhood, there's also a gym." Kyung was extremely excited. The female lead of the MV doesn't just want to go anywhere, she wants to go to Gangnam. There are many famous people there. Sura exclaimed in surprise, "Boasting too much, aren't you, sis?" "It's not boasting, it's investing." "Investing seems like you still haven't realized that the movie will be shown everywhere, right? Sura, you have to be the top keyword on real-time search engines." Hearing this, Sura became even more annoyed. Forget about that for now. Who cares about being a trending topic? I'm more worried about paying the gas bill for the heater this month than about these luxury suites. Kyung stopped the car in front of Sura's favorite gym. Too noisy. Let's go. She shook her head in anguish, feeling overwhelmed. Despite her reluctance, Sura couldn't muster any resistance anymore. The gym loomed before her, everyone inside enthusiastically exercising. Sura couldn't lift her head, and Kyung kept cheering in her ear, "You're amazing, truly a famous actress, Wang Sura. You shine bright even in workout clothes. You look beautiful in anything." Kyung quickly responded, No. If someone recognizes you, it's definitely because you're beautiful. When you're done exercising, call me, and we'll go to the cafe nearby. Sura immediately interjected, "Wait, why would you assume I'm exercising with you?" Her face innocent and full of innocence. "What are you talking about? How much does it cost to exercise here? And you're inviting me to exercise together?" Kyung's voice echoed throughout the room, "Come on. Wang Sura, I just want to dig a hole and hide in it." Seriously. Sura randomly opened a workout video on YouTube. Now, this exercise will correct the misaligned pelvis. It helps improve blood circulation. Sura gritted her teeth, enduring the situation. There was nothing else she could do now. Having paid the exercise fee, she had to endure and work hard. Extend your legs in this position, press your back to create a straight line, she silently complained to herself, feeling exasperated. Suddenly, a familiar voice slipped into her ears, "Whatever it is, let me meet him and try to break his neck. Jinseo is in the past. You shouldn't even mention it. Even if you forget, I'm still angry." Sura silently observed the two, surprised to learn they were Jinseo and Chang-hoon. Jinseo frowned unhappily. "I've prepared a lot for that role." "It's a shame," he lamented. Chang-hoon remained calm, "It'll be useful." Sura was shocked to the core upon hearing the rumor of their leaked dating, even though they denied it. But it seemed like they were indeed dating, unintentional as it may have been. Jinseo's voice still lingered in her mind, disappointing her deeply. Regardless of how high the production costs were, it was regrettable that he chose someone like Kim Chong-gu over him. It was a pity for Sung-hyun to have to endure seeing his face to act. Sura also figured out their story, they were talking about that time. Jinseo changed the subject. "Sung-hyun, we haven't seen him for a while since the premiere." Chang-hoon was surprised, "Why?" Sura remembered, "Yes, at the premiere, our senior also gave me a ticket." She worriedly realized she still didn't know what to wear. The other girl continued chatting, "Right, should we arrange for Seeun-hyun to sit next to Gina at the premiere? When Gina introduces her, she's just so insistent." "I'm speechless." Sura listened with a bit of hesitation. "Gina, she's talking about actress Gina, right? The one who openly admitted that an actor wanted to collaborate with star Kang Seeun-hyun? Everyone knows Jinseo and Song Gina are close friends." Yeah, Seeun-hyun wouldn't agree to that, she thought to herself, secretly hoped. "Say no, Cha-ong-hoon, please, she wishes." "But it seems like it's been a while since we last met, so let's relax a bit," he said. Sura felt like she was falling into an abyss. Suddenly, she remembered Kyung's words, "If you hesitate like this, you might lose Seeun-hyun. What will you do then?" It actually made sense. If their dating rumors were true and if Seeun-hyun was indeed attracted to Song Gina, then she had no right to stop him because... Jinseo felt someone approaching, seeing Sura's gloomy face. "We're not anything to each other yet, and you're already scaring me." She hurried to explain, "Yes, that's right. We're nothing." "Are you a journalist, Chang-hoon?" he intervened, trying to calm Jinseo down. "Hey, Jinseo, calm down. Who's this? Is there a problem?" Sura wondered, blaming herself for her erratic behavior. "What am I doing?" Her lips trembled with every word. I think. Sura's brain struggled to function at full capacity, but finally, she managed to find an excuse. "Actually, I'm a fan of both of you. I was just too shy to talk to you, Jinseo." And the autographs were actually for Sura, and she narrowly escaped a mishap. Kyung questioned, "What autographs are you talking about?" Sitting in a corner, Sura rambled, Yes, when he came to the gym, he was very, very friendly. "Oh, please, can we change our workout spot, please?" She objected immediately. "Do you know how much the fine is?" Kyung asked. Sura glanced at her phone after hearing a notification, finding a message from Kang Son-hyun about today's weather. "It's warm today, but mornings and evenings are still chilly, so remember to dress warmly." She couldn't believe it. Her emotions welled up inside her. Even if the senior cares about me every day, why am I still so hesitant? Can't he wait, even if he doesn't get an answer? Looking out the window, she contemplated. He approaches me with warmth and comfort, and I hesitate, but then I gather courage to make a decision. I should give him an answer now. Sura took a deep breath. All right, time to focus on the movie. This is the one I've been wanting to see. She switched her phone to vibrate mode and noticed a message from Seeun-hyun. Are you here yet? Where are you? She discreetly glanced around, carefully assessing her surroundings before responding, 6th row, right side. Seeun-hyun, seated in the front row, glanced back for a moment before turning back around. Sura's heart raced. What do I do? My heart feels like it's going to explode. Just then, she received another message from Seeun-hyun, which left her speechless with emotion. Let's step outside for a bit in 20 minutes. Wang-soo will be waiting outside. After waiting for what seemed like forever, the 20 minutes finally passed. Sura gently opened the door. Just then, Kyung walked up. Sura, over here, she said, and Sura immediately recognized her two seniors. Wang-soo smiled and said, It's been a while, Sura. I hope you're happy to know I still haven't had lunch. Sura, feeling embarrassed, replied, I'm sorry. Kyung lightly punched Wang-soo in the stomach, don't joke with her. You ate earlier. Sura felt uneasy. They both seemed so natural, she thought, just thinking about meeting him makes me nervous and shy. The elevator arrived. Wang-soo pointed, Sura, do you see the room at the end there? Over there, let's get out of here. She was stunned as her two seniors left. Why? She asked. Wang-soo replied enthusiastically, Hey Sura, we're not thoughtless. Kyung chimed in, Sura, hang in there. Sura quickly denied, No, that's not what I meant. Dark thoughts started creeping into her mind, and everything around her seemed gloomy. She said, if it's just the two of us, it will be really awkward. She stood in front of Kang Sung-hyun's waiting room, thinking there was no other way. They hadn't seen each other in a long time, so she couldn't interrupt them. Sura tried to steady her breath. She also needed to clarify things with him. Feeling nervous, she opened the door and peeked inside. Sunbae, can I come in? She asked. Sung-hyun was drinking water while waiting for her. You've arrived? He asked as Sura stood frozen in place, her heart racing wildly. She willed it to calm down. Seeing her stand still, he called out, Why are you just standing there? Come in. Yes, she replied, stepping inside and closing the door. An awkward silence enveloped them. Seeun-hyun broke the silence first, What's with this awkward atmosphere? His words startled her. Yes, she stammered. Seeing her like this, he couldn't help but smile slightly. He then walked over to the corner of the room and sat down on a sofa. He patted the spot next to him and said, Sit here. His eyes never left her. Inside, Sura felt a burst of joy as she slowly walked over and sat down, her face turning bright red. I really wanted to watch the movie, but next time I'll have to go with Jin Kyung, she said, turning her head away. Oh, there's a screen over there. We can watch the movie from here. Seeun-hyun asked straightforwardly, Why aren't you looking me in the eye? Are you feeling shy because it's been so long since we last met? Sura let out a small ah and lowered her head. Actually, yes. It feels a bit awkward looking at each other like this. There was a hint of amusement in his voice as he replied, Good, at least you're aware of it. He continued with another question, Do I look more like a man now? Outside, Sura struggled to contain her emotions, but inside, her inner turmoil screamed. Of course, no one looks more like a man than you, she thought to herself. But she quickly pushed that thought aside, engaging in an internal battle. Is this the right time? Sura tightened her grip on her hands, then spoke out her mind. Senior, I haven't gotten to the main point yet. Before she could continue, the ringing of a phone interrupted. He turned away to answer the call, and she let out a sigh of relief, feeling as if her heart was about to explode. Chang Hun's name was suddenly mentioned, and I stepped in. I'm here, I said, entering the room. I'll be outside, there's a little matter to attend to. We'll talk later, I added, trying to keep it vague. Sura thought to herself, wondering if he had received a hidden date invitation. Se-Yun-hien politely apologized, making Sura feel flustered. Oh, it's okay, she replied. Then he asked if she had plans after the premiere, and she hesitated in response. I haven't made any specific plans yet, she admitted. What about you? Are you attending any press conferences? Sura sighed with disappointment. She hesitated. He said the press conference will end soon. Would you want to wait for me here, or? Her cheeks flushed as she asked what he meant by wanting to meet her after the press conference. Sehun's face looked somewhat embarrassed as he replied, Chang Hun wants to introduce his girlfriend to me, so he suggested we go together. These words felt like a lightning strike to Sura's ears. She stared at him intently. What did he just say, she wondered. He said the call was to arrange a date with Song Jina, she thought. Isn't that enough? Why go together? Her voice couldn't hide her nervousness. What's your intention, she asked. Se-Yun-hien replied bluntly, sit next to me to make them jealous. Upon hearing this, Sura was taken aback. What do you mean, she asked, puzzled. Why do you look so normal? He responded seriously, I'm not joking. Do you want me to go alone? Sura's mind raced to catch up with him. Why do I have no idea what my senior is planning, she wondered, clasping her hands together. Anyway, he's going on a date with Song Jina. What can I say? Being next to him looks better than being with Song Jina. Sura bowed her head in silence for a long moment. Sung Hien, growing impatient, sighed deeply and then turned away. His voice sounded somewhat melancholic as he stated plainly, I'll go on the date then. Seems like you don't want to keep me here, huh? I'll be gone for a while. See you later today. With that, he walked away. Seeing him stand up, Sura was bewildered. Wait, she uttered, trailing after Se-Yun-hien's retreating figure. That meant he had reached the door and was about to open it. Suddenly, he hesitated. Sura grabbed hold of the hem of his shirt. If you stay, I won't go, she said, unable to face Se-Yun-hien directly. She looked down at the ground shyly, trying to express her feelings. I hope you won't go to that date. Her face flushed red. Why do you feel somewhat happy, he asked, turning back to seek an answer from her. Sura hesitated, unable to find her words. Because, well, you have me now, her voice sounded timidly. Se-Yun-hien couldn't believe she was saying these words. Even Sura herself couldn't believe it anymore. But his face broke into a happy smile, and his gentle hand touched her face. Then, he hugged Sura close to his chest. At a distance where even an ant couldn't pass through, she silently thought she could feel the heartbeat of her senior. His warm voice resonated, thank you for keeping me here. She discreetly glanced at Sung Hien, who appeared calm as ever, but to her, he wasn't any different from her. Sura responded to his embrace shyly. Kyung had been eagerly waiting for all the details. Sura exclaimed, it's amazing, just like in the movies. How can Sung Hien be so dramatic in real life? Sura looked around and then signaled for silence, feeling embarrassed. Sorry, I got a little too excited. Thank you for spending time with me, but don't worry about Wangsu, Kyung, she chuckled. After all, he has Se-Yun-hien. Sura felt helpless and replied, I understand. Curiously, Kyung asked how she managed to escape from that situation, compared to you admired your ability to handle it, she said. As Sura drank water, she recalled the recent conversation and felt genuinely apologetic. He said, anyway, I'm going to the movies. What about you, Sura? Do you want to come along? She had no choice but to decline him. Sung Hien, I'll reconsider later. I'll go to the nearby cafe. Why? All right, you go ahead, he said. Hearing this, she felt a bit disappointed. Seeing him still standing there, she worriedly asked why. Se-Yun-Hyun leaned against the door and bluntly admitted that he didn't want to go. Sura's mood was like being on cloud 9, genuinely happy that her senior also felt the same way. Wang-Soo, are you done? Kyung's phone call interrupted her thoughts. From the gist of the conversation, the press conference must have ended. Sura held her phone eagerly, expecting a message from her senior any moment. Okay, got it. See you later, she said, ending the call. Kyung stood up, ready to leave. Sura was puzzled. Where are you going, Kyung? She asked. Kyung replied, to Incheon Park. Sura was baffled. What's happening at Incheon Park? In the blink of an eye, they arrived. Director Jang Min-seon was already waiting. Sura, Jin Kyung, over here, he called out. Kyung excitedly replied to the director, he's right here. And as for Sura was surprised, what's going on, Director Jang Min-seon? Leave her to me. I'll take care of Sura, he said reassuringly. Watching them, Sura was speechless, as they seemed to have their own plan and were self-sufficient in executing it. What's going on? Sura thought to herself, feeling a bit awkward. Where is Director Jang taking me? She glanced at the director, waiting for an explanation. Sung-Hyun didn't make it clear, did he? Despite that, he must change his habit of omitting important words beforehand. We're meeting after they're done, so I want to take Sura to Se-Yun-Hyun's place. It's my car, so there's no doubt. I often come and go to his house. Sura couldn't anticipate this turn of events. But why? Where is Director Min-seon taking me? She asked, feeling puzzled. He calmly replied, don't worry. It's snowing heavily outside, and suddenly, neither of us wants to leave the house. Isn't that better? Sura exclaimed, no? What do you mean? He chuckled to reassure her, don't worry. She gazed out the window at the cityscape, realizing that meeting outside was impossible due to the presence of many people. Somehow, it seemed normal. Sura remained silent for a while. Sensing her confusion, Min-seon asked, do you understand? She nodded hesitantly. Now it was his turn to be quiet. Feeling flustered, she replied, yes, of course. Her emotions were in turmoil. It wasn't about understanding or not, it was about being Kang Se-Yun-Hyun's girlfriend. She didn't want to disclose her name to the public, so there was nothing to be sad about. It was just those ordinary little moments she wanted to share with her mentor, but she felt a bit regretful about having to miss them. The director stopped the car, and Sura replied, yes, then glanced out at the towering skyscraper, her astonishment evident. She was speechless. At this moment, Chang-hoon suddenly remembered, right, I've been thinking about Jin-dong and decided to move to Yukyeon. I have to work diligently. Se-Yun-Hyun's expression remained as aloof as ever. Director Kim and Wang-Soo have also been working hard. The decoration work is almost done, but I haven't arrived there yet. Chang-hoon worriedly asked if he was okay, as he had been waiting for this for a long time. Se-Yun-Hyun calmly replied, yes, what kind of person it will be and how to face it are important. Min-seon's voice interrupted them, Kang Sung-Hyun, the mailman is here, and Sura, feeling embarrassed, apologized to everyone. Go ahead, Chang-hoon, it's been a while since I last saw Min-seon. Sura was surprised to see Chang-hoonjo here. Sung-Hyun suspiciously asked, is the car locked? Min-seon scolded him further for not explaining to Sura why he brought her here. Sura felt very embarrassed. Chang-hoonjo pointed towards her, saying, oh, the gym room. Sura didn't know where to hide. Director Jang looked at her curiously, why the gym? Sung wondered if they knew each other. Chang-hoonjo then recounted the story, and soon everyone burst into laughter. Min-seon, holding his stomach, managed to suppress his laughter and said, Sura, you're amazing. Chang-hoonjo continued, because of some suspicious behavior as just a fan. Sura, feeling ashamed, bowed her head, I'm really sorry for that. Then, looking up, she jokingly scolded Min-seon, you're laughing too loudly. Se-Yun-Hyun quickly changed the subject, oh, sorry. Let me cook something delicious for you. Sura couldn't believe her eyes. Did her senior know how to cook? Chang Hunjo replied, surprised, huh? He's played the role of a chef before, so he enjoys cooking. And now, he's really good at it. Not long after, a grand feast was prepared. Wow, this is not just ordinary cooking skills. Se-Yun Hien remained stoic despite Sura's admiration. It's just something simple, he said. But Sura immediately tasted it and exclaimed how delicious it was. Min Hien also praised Kong Se-Yun Hien's cooking. Thank you for the food. Sura silently thought to herself, at that moment, we were all strangers. Sitting together like this, chatting and laughing. But in the end, the power of good food and wine brings us together. Suddenly, Sura's glass of wine was snatched away. Se-Yun Hien warned her not to drink anymore, saying she was already drunk. Sura objected, insisting she wasn't drunk, but he took her hand and led her away, saying they should rest until Jin Kyung came to pick her up. Sura affirmed that she was fine, amidst the murmurs of the other two discussing MV production. Are you sure you're okay? Se-Yun Hien asked with concern, while Sura finally sat down on his bed, saying she would rest there. Sure, she obediently replied, her eyes fixed on him. Why do you look more tired than me? She asked, noticing his exhaustion. Yesterday I worked until morning, he explained softly, as Sura suggested they both rest, holding on to his hand. He seemed a bit embarrassed, thinking she was really drunk. But Sura insisted again, I'm not drunk, I told you before, I'm not. The two confided in each other, and Sura suddenly remarked, you came back home today without notice, so I was really surprised. Se-Yun Hien, speaking sincerely, apologized, admitting that he often failed to communicate important things in advance, despite hearing from many people that he tended to leave out crucial details. Sura chuckled, mentioning that director Jang Min-seon had also commented on this. Se-Yun Hien was surprised and asked what director Jang had said. Sura, internally chastising herself, found an excuse to avoid answering directly, claiming that director Jang hadn't said anything specific. She remembered her earlier claim of not being drunk and wondered why she had clung to Se-Yun Hien like that. Se-Yun Hien looked directly into her eyes, waiting. She didn't dare to lie and only thought about what she had said when she was sober. Suddenly, he spoke up, admitting that since it was just the two of them at home, he felt a bit awkward and had called the others to join them, asking if she felt uncomfortable. Quickly, she reassured him that she felt fine, even happy. Her voice became more relaxed, both of them found each other's company enjoyable and I laughed a lot, she said, then looking up at him for the first time, she couldn't believe he could cook. But since then, everything had changed. As she gazed at him, she felt overwhelmed by his presence, his eyes, his breath, his warmth, filling her heart until it almost burst. They shared their first kiss, and Se-Yun Hien held her tightly. Both of them were intoxicated by each other, seeing only each other in their eyes. With her face blushing, Sura asked, are they still outside? His gentle fingers tenderly caressed her lips as he asked in a warm tone, do you like it? Apologizing and explaining that it wasn't like that. Sura's mood improved remarkably, isn't it wonderful? It's not like that. He smiled at her cuteness, the first time he saw her so natural in front of him. Why is that? Well, when I was close to you before, you always seemed tense, she wondered, asking the senior back, but he didn't seem tense at all. Why? Suddenly, she burst into laughter because Se-Yun Hien's antics annoyed her. Hold on, please.